When I was younger, I felt as if I had no purpose in my life. And where I work today, I see young people in the exact same position where they only see purpose in video games. And that's the only thing in their life that gives them a sense of purpose. And seeing that today, it reminds me of exactly how I felt when I invested myself into video games. And I think that all young men and all people in general, but particularly men, need a purpose and something to strive towards. And I want to talk about how video games give you this false sense of purpose and they kind of distract you, but they do supply you with something that is missing in your day-to-day life. And I know this deeply because I spent years pursuing video games thinking that I was getting some sort of purpose from it, and ultimately coming out at the end of it feeling purposeless and feeling honestly depressed. And for a lot of my life, I was envious of those people that joined the army. My dad was always like, don't join the army. Don't join the army. So in my mind, I thought, I'm not going to join the army. But I found myself envious of that brotherhood and that joint purpose that people, they say they feel deeply when they're in the army. It's like you and your brothers working towards something together. And I always craved something like that. And when I look back, everything that I've done in my life, particularly during my teenage and 20s, was all to do with trying to find any sense of purpose, whether that was through video games or through sports, mostly solitary sports. I like to be, against myself, but I was seeking purpose in anything. So when it came to video games, I would get that sense of purpose through progression, whether that was through World of Warcraft or Call of Duty, leveling up. Whatever the game is, if it had an XP bar, something for me to work towards, I was all in. In games like StarCraft, ranking up, you had a ranking system. This goes for Counter-Strike as well. Any competitive shooter where you have a ranking system, you clearly see who's better, who's worse than you, what league are you in, and you can tout that with your friends. I'm in Master League. What league are you in? Oh, well, I'm better than you. And that's where I got that sense of purpose for a time from that. And one of the biggest false senses of purpose to me was through achievement systems. When I started seeing achievements pop up in video games like on the Xbox 360, or when they started popping up in World of Warcraft, Diablo, all Blizzard games started having achievements, I would find myself looking at that list and thinking, which ones can I complete? Can I 100% this? And whether I ended up doing it or not, it was the pursuit of trying to fulfill these achievements that gave me that sense of purpose. And then it was quite rewarding to step back and look at the list and be like, I did that. I completed this game. And I'd regularly spend time looking at my achievements list on Xbox and looking at the things I still had left to do on Blizzard games and thinking, I've got to do this. And I remember it came to when Diablo 3 came out, it had achievements, and I look at the list and I see, right, I can do these achievements easily. And I'd spend all my time doing these tasks. I didn't even enjoy doing a lot of these things in these video games. I just wanted those achievements because oftentimes they just give you these pointless tasks. Win 1,000 games, go to this pointless part of the map, kind of content filler, but I would do it just for those points. And it just left me feeling, after a while of doing this, why the hell am I doing this? This hasn't provided anything to me in my life. But at the time when I was doing it, it was filling that void, because the thing that is missing from a lot of our lives is purpose, something that feels tangible to work towards. Because in real life, it was shit. What did I have going for me in real life? I was poor. I barely made my rent every month. In fact, most months I was miraculously getting the amount I need somehow, and I'd be like, yes, I just scraped by. And then I go back to playing games. I never had any sort of leeway. I guess you could say paycheck to paycheck is the right term for that. It felt as if I was going nowhere in life, but I was going somewhere in video games. Whether that was a fake feeling at the end of the day, it filled that void for me. I don't know if it's projecting or not, but when I see the young adults that I work with in the same purposeless situation where all their life comes down to the meaning that they get from life is there's a new patch in this Roblox game. I need to get these items. These items are only going to be available for the next month. I've got to farm for them. I have to AFK farm in this game. I just see myself in that. And yes, I admit, maybe I'm projecting my own feelings onto these people. And that's why I don't push my own personal feelings on them. I just like to almost just sit and observe. What are they doing? And I, from what I can tell, they're getting that feeling of purpose that's lacking in their life through Roblox. If you're currently feeling this way, what can we do? And the only thing that's made me feel like I have a sense of purpose is when I just dedicate myself to working on something consistently over time. And it might feel hard. For instance, when I started going to the gym when I was 26, I thought I was too late. That's one thing. That's a different topic entirely. But it was the fact that I started going every week. And then I started to see, within this field, I can progress. It's not just getting muscle mass. There's a whole competitive scene. Powerlifting, and I started feeling that sense of progression from that sense of purpose. To combat this sense of purposeless, you have to have something to strive for. You have to have something to work towards in your day-to-day life. And I've never felt more purposeful than when I've actually followed through on my passions and decided to work towards something. Whether that was, it doesn't really matter what avenue it is. Just work towards something. Dedicate even half an hour to start and do it again next week, the week after. Do it once a week to start with, just a small amount of time. After a couple weeks, you spent an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, and suddenly you spent hours working towards something and you can see your progression. It can feel crap at first, but over time you see how much you've actually really put into that. And it does give you a sense of purpose. Nothing illuminated this more to me than when I went to it was like this men's mental health meeting. And I went along to it, and it was one of the most depressing moments of my life. I was sat there, and there was a lot of, there was just a couple of men there. Hardly anyone showed up, and no one had any oomph. Everyone was kind of reserved, and it felt like, I don't know, the only way I could describe it was negative aura. I ended up never returning back to that meeting, and that's when I started uploading to YouTube every week. And I just sat down and I started talking about my feelings. I felt like that was at least somewhat productive to me. What do I value? What have I always wanted to do? I've just wanted to make videos for most of my life. Since YouTube's inception, I've been uploading content, and nothing makes me happier than just sitting down and making something, whatever that is. And I started to get this sense of purpose through creation. Whatever is important to you, I think it's important to sit down and ask yourself, what do I want? What do I want to do? And then just try something, whatever that is, whether that's going to the gym, whether that's joining a walking club. It could be working towards a rank in a video game, but working with someone or working towards something, progressing at something. That's what we need as men. And I'm talking from a man perspective. I don't know if you feel different to me, but I feel like we need to progress at something. We need something to strive for. Nothing makes me feel more manly than when I'm progressing at something. It gives you almost, I don't know if it's a testosterone boost or what it is, but it gives you a zest in life. I have a reason to wake up in the morning, and I think the problem is you have to give yourself the reason. Whereas I spent a lot of my life almost waiting for someone to give me a reason. But whenever life just gave me a reason, it was never the reason I wanted. Because life's just going to give you, problems. If you wait around, life's just going to be like, right, well, you've got money due. You've got this health problem. Someone in your family needs help. Someone asks you, can you do this? Can you do that? It's just decisions being made for you. So ultimately, I guess at the end of the day, it's you making decisions for yourself. Do you get purpose from sitting there playing video games? I know I sure did for a long time, but it left me feeling numb when I wasn't. I only started feeling purposeful when I started working towards something. It doesn't matter what it is, we need to strive towards something. So anyway, that was my piece. Thank you for listening. Here's another video of me talking, and I'll see you in the next video.